William, hi. Hello,
Hi.
William. Yes,
Yes, can you hear me?
immediately it hits this prof. Immediately it hits 6:10. We start.
Yeah, sure. Linda says she'd like to understand CBC pathways better. Okay. Let's hear from participants. Linda, what school do you represent, or maybe as a stakeholder? Are you a business partner? Would be great to know. Josna Primary. It would be nice to know your expectations, even as Josna Primary. You're most welcome. We're just taking a minute to welcome members to hear your expectation as we begin in about a minute or so. But even as we do that, I just wanted to introduce this conversation. This is a conversation that has spilled over from a CBC WhatsApp forum, which is a forum where all of us are present, and we discuss a lot of things, and it's turning out to be an area where we all want to learn, we all want to engage in, and actually understand what's the way forward, particularly at the junior secondary school. So we invite you from Dr. Otundo, based on his expertise, what exactly we make of this transition and all these things that are giving us a difficult time. I see Justin Primary is saying wants to know what grade 9 entails and what is expected of all stakeholders, learners, teachers, parents by the end of grade 9. I know pathways is a big elephant. We want to know which schools are which pathways, or what pathways should be in which school, and how to choose. I hope we can also understand better. Out of, I hope you're able to see the expectation. Lilian Kesa says, I like to understand the expectation of teachers and parents in GS to prepare students towards their career pathways. So you can take it away. It's now
All right.
6:10. I hope we can
thank you, everyone.
I will
thank you. Mention a few things that would send you to a bit of research also for yourselves. Dr. Tundo is my name at Senior Lecturer, Riara University, and Dean School of Education, at the same time Head of Programs for the university. I also specialize in curriculum redesign, and for that purpose, I also teach and redesign curriculum for the newest university, the Open University of Kenya. Besides which, we'll be having this on me for a while, knows how I protect this concept of CBC. And because it's a concept I have played a very major role from its inception to where it is today. William, please be checking on me so that if
yeah, it's very clear. You can proceed.
Yeah, so I'm always very sensitive I'm on many walls, and I'm always very keen on certain posts. And sometimes you would see me respond to them. Some of those may not like them, but all said and done, I don't think that when you're doing something right, you need to change it to tell someone what he needs to hear. I would rather tell you what is right, and you decide to make a choice of friend. So that you also look at the context that if Dr. Tundo was your parent in your school, how would you address a function in which he is in regard to the curriculum? Or what do you think he'll be collecting from an assumption that schools must always tell parents? Because some of us who are parents, including yourself, you're basically highly engraved into the curriculum. So when you're taking a child to a school, you also analyze how they talk to you. Then another thing is, what is it good? What to be keen on solution-based approach? On this call, we also have other experts in their own fields in terms of technology. I refer to them as solution providers. How do they curriculum so that we ensure that the child is not affected? Because at the end of it all, good people, you have that child inside the classroom, but remember that child will exit either as a pineapple, which is ripe, or an avocado, which is raw, or a watermelon, which is rotten, or sugarcane that has a broken stem. So choose. The children you release from your school, even if it was not CBC, are they a watermelon to meet the needs of the society? Is it a broken stem of sugarcane? Or is that child comparable to unripe fruit? So that comes into the context of understanding what you are dealing with. I want to say that the curriculum, but I'm afraid that many of us are speaking without taking their time and settling down and just going through what the KICD has provided. The latest revised KICD. I was in another forum where someone posted that KICD should do a lot of sensitization and all that. When someone said this is asking for too much from KICD, because any semi-autonomous government agency sinks into the education through the learning institution. Commission for University Education through the universities. Basic curriculum is through your schools. And so the sensitization unit is not KICD, neither is it NEC. NEC will make pronouncements on media. KICD will make pronouncements on media. Teacher Service Commission will make pronouncements on media, and we cannot use that as a purpose for which we operate a curriculum as institutions. After all, we inform the ministry on what is right, what you think needs to be improved. Why do you think we are struggling a bit with the funding model for university students? Yet it's a good model, is that the tool wasn't tested in advance before it was administered. And so what I'm trying to say, good people, is that let's listen to one another and listen objectively and also share objectively. I have no intent as a person to bring down action as long as it does not bring down the fruit, who is the learner in this case. So as we interact today, please take it that we are doing this for the benefit of the learners. The designs that we first started doing, the website for KICD in 2017, and revisions have been going on. The latest revisions were done in November 2024. Now we are in 2025. There are several insertions that have been done in those areas that have been so much revised and that we need to be abreast with. Some designs that have been withdrawn for a short period for the purpose of revision. What are some of the critical things that have been revised? Some of the essence statements have been revised. Some of the thematic areas. Framework on suggested learning resources, assessments, assessment methods, non-formal activities or non-formal programs to support learning have incredibly been inserted or enhanced if they were inserted earlier. There is an enhancement on what is in 2024, what was revised in November 2024, and what was there in 2017. That, for example, in early years, that is where we have the pre-primary. There have been revisions on thematic areas on how they are organized. Assessment methods and non-formal programs have been inserted. And so we need to evaluate yourselves. Don't evaluate the teachers. We evaluate, first of all, if a teacher goes to class, how many are a substrate, how many assessment methods do we use? So we rate ourselves and evaluate ourselves against those specific assessment methods. What about suggested learning methods? Suggested learning assessment, so resources. The resources are suggested. Then you happen to have some others you don't have. How have you gone about it? Then the non-formal programs. What are the non-formal programs are aligned to as they facilitate learning? When you go to upper primary, the same thing has been done. More advancement on clarity on summary of strands and substrands. That summary is very critical for us to effective planning for teaching, so that we are able to facilitate the curriculum within the stipulated time. Same thing on assessment methods, and I'll show that framework in the sample that is just here. Community service learning. And good people, community service learning has now been very clarified to run in steps. But when I even interact with many of your teachers and developing a curriculum, a community service learning project, they apparently don't know. But somehow we are convinced that we are carrying out community learning projects community learning programs in our schools. That concept of community service learning. When you go to grade 7 and 9, guidelines for interacting community service learning projects and appear in every curriculum design. And all these curriculum designs are uploaded in concepts of where you can get the information. So that you're not saying that this is what Dr. Otundo said, but I'm giving you with relevance of where you can get this information. And so when you look at grade 7 and 9, guidelines have been enhanced, resources enhanced, and non-formal activities done enhanced. Then I look at now the issue of grade 9, and I have just picked on one curriculum design here, which is creative arts and sports. And you can pick on any other. And the specific area I'll go to, the specific learning, and I'll tell you the reason why I have started with that. You see, like the summary, of strands and substrands. This place is very critical, but we just bypass it anyway, because what most of our teachers do is basically this area, where they can easily lesson plan, or they can easily scheme, lesson plan, and then go to class and deliver. But even the issue of first scanning to do it. So I will go straight and look at, is it page 36? Just briefly, 1 minute. So in the context of what I'm talking about as I get to this, I think it is important for schools to have sessions where teachers and departments settle down to understand key concepts in the curriculum design. Right. So this is Appendix 1. This is page what? I can't tell. So this is Appendix 1. Can we all see the screen, William? Can we still see my
Yes, you can see it. Yes,
so
correct.
I'll read these, good people. Guidelines for integrating community service learning project. And remember, this place I am reading in every learning area in grade 9, all the learning areas, and it reads, in grade 9, it is service learning project of choice. Underline the word of choice from a single or combined subject. The CSL project will enable the learner to apply the knowledge and skills from the other subject to address a problem in the community. It will take a whole school approach. People talk about parental engagement, and all I listen to schools is call parents for a meeting. When you attend a meeting, the school talks, and tells them this is what we do, to the extent that you talk to the parents about the curriculum last. Time has run out. It is 1 o'clock. Parents are tired. They won't ask questions. When they go home, they are still asking. We are lost. Because the way we are running our programs in our schools is purely wrong, good people. And we have to do things right. There's nothing called engagement when our responsibility is to tell parents. And that's why I said, just assume that and just keep quiet, and you talk and you say, we are finished because time is running late. You call for a meeting at 3 p.m. Parents have come from work. These guys are tired. Then you do other things. Then you tell them, now we have a speaker here. He'll talk to you about the curriculum for the next 20 minutes. He does it because they are tired. They drive off. They walk away. Then you say, we had a parental engagement. So listen to this part. They take a whole school approach where all members of the school community, including teachers, school administration. How many of the schools here? I come to some of your schools. Many of your schools, in fact. How many of your administrators are even involved in programs that you run for the teachers? Parents, guardians, local community and support staff. Of social studies, please check. This one that I'm reading is in every curriculum designed for every learning area for grade 9. And I'll tell you why it is like this. And it is going to be coordinated mainly by the social studies teachers and works with other learning integrated CSL project. The teachers will select a theme drawn from different learning areas and broader categories of pertinent and contemporary issues. The CSL project will be able to cover all that. It would also provide an opportunity for development of core competencies and nurturing of the learners' values. Learners will under teams of the following 6-step milestone. If you go back to the revised curriculum designs all the way from PP1, you will discover that there is so much enforcement on community service learning. And there is here now they have defined the steps into milestones at every stage. And let me mention this. What is the intended purpose of the community service learning project? It is supposed to connect the pillars of the curriculum. So how can we be continually facilitating a curriculum and we're not pillars of the curriculum? National goals of education as pillars of the curriculum, theoretical frameworks as pillars of the curriculum, and the guiding principles. So we need to find out what are these guiding principles. And all this information, good people, is not with anybody. It is all with us in the KICD website. Everything is there, including the framework of a CSL, is to ensure it connects all concepts of the curriculum. That is the pillars, the competencies, the vision, the mission, parental engagement, the major outcomes as we release the learners. Now, you might discover that many of our teachers who are in grade 9 today, this is week what? Is it week 2 or week 3? Anybody? Is it week 3? Which week is this in your schools? Is this week 3?
Yes.
Week 3.
Just make a mistake and ask your teachers if they have interacted with this, and this is week 3. When you try to introduce this at week 7, you cause panic because someone would say, oh no, it will interfere with teaching. So we are supposed to be monitoring learning. As we go along, we are quietly losing the monitoring the learning projects, the MLP concept. We are quietly losing it. So it comes down and it has clear milestones. When you listen to my community, it doesn't say teachers give a problem to the learners. Learners study their community to understand the challenges first and the effects on the the community members. And I said the reason here is because the curriculum is to sort out and connect with sustainable development goals. And these details, the head teachers, we need to remove away from the routine management of schools. In fact, routine way, I have walked into the office, I have seen what is happening, teachers are in class teaching, I have walked around, I have received parents, the day is gone. It can never be the same game, good people. And I'm talking to you from the heart because me, I live by research. I do a lot on that. It talks about learners. We go to the next, address the challenge. Milestone 3, they plan for the project. Milestone 4, implementation of the project. Milestone 5, showcasing and exhibition. And you can see, exhibition involves showcasing learners' project items to the community and reflecting on the feedback. Learners write a report detailing their project activities and learning from and learnings from the feedback. Then reflection. Learners review all the project work with academic concepts, noting how the concept enabled them to their project, as well as how the project helped to deepen learning of the academic progress. Good people, it now comes down and tells you how to assess the integrated project. That is on Appendix 1, which is in every curriculum design of grade 9. But it is there, good people. The next one is the list of suggested assessment methods, learning resources, and non-formal activities to support learning. This area has been so much enhanced, the assessment methods we are using in our schools. Grade 9 teachers have lost the use of portfolio completely. And it's going to have an impact on this learner by the end of this year. Then we'll start complaining and saying, this is the ministry, the government, whatever. We'll make all complaints. But we not even need to keep a physical portfolio. Your teachers need to have high skills, and we train them on how to develop class portfolios, individual e-portfolios, group e-portfolios, project e-portfolios. Assess yourself against individual reflections and self-assessment. Why do we talk about reflective journals? Assess yourself against group research school. Students will be expected to carry out action research. How do they carry out action research, good people? When nothing of this practice is going to be practiced in grade 8, grade 9. We walk to class, teach. You supervise, you get to a class, know nothing about what the learners have done. And you say, you know what, we are chasing after the summative assessment that will come, called KGSEA. And we are very keen even to ensure that the candidates have really grasped that things that can make the learners become critical thinkers to solve the task they'll be given during that particular exam. Interactive classroom display, walkthrough. Think about it. Application of knowledge in real-world context. Individual, written, master of theoretical concept. In fact, here is what we do very well. Observation checklist. Assess yourself as a school against these things here, this framework. Before we say the ministry is not doing right, we are lost. Just evaluate yourself against this as a school. Evaluate yourself against this as a school. Field trips, I'll not read the details. Apprenticeship, I'll not read the details. Concerts, I'll not read the details. Project work, good people, assess yourself against this. These two are CBC. So the question here is competency-based education, good people. It's not just about the specific learning outcomes. It's not just about have you handled this area? Have you finished this place? I still see all your teachers depending on the books in the advent of tendency on something called a textbook. I still see many of the schools where students have opened a textbook on the desk. The teacher is also using the guideline as of textbook and is even reading for the learners in front. But where the seating arrangement is group-based, but no single group activity is facilitated. And even if it is just question and answer, simple questions. Then you record in your teachers will record in their lesson plans that they used a question and answer, and we are quiet, and we feel learning is taking place. And at the end of it, we discuss learner performance as in the context of summative assessment. The gist of where I said we need to be centers of communication to the parents by understanding the real concept in this curriculum. Unless there's any question and any document. Hello?
Hello, yeah, thank you so much. So far, so good. I'm sure this is very, very enlightening and we have access to it a lot of the times. I'm checking the chat. I haven't seen any questions.
Okay.
Anyone would like to do a quick interjection? You can just put your hand up.
So let me share the next document. Just a minute, good people, in a minute. So, Can you see my screen?
Yes, senior school curriculum, yes.
Very good. This is senior school, grade 10, and I've gone to community service learning. But I want to jump many places and go just to one concept, which again is well demonstrated. It's supposed to connect everything. Now, pathways, therefore. Proposed list of subjects at senior school. Before this was done, we had almost education framework, the one that was there, that was done and was launched by the former president, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta at KICC. But when this is now after the Presidential Working Party, this is as per the Presidential Working Party recommendations, confusing people and telling them that schools are being categorized according to pathways. You'll see how it goes. So in this case, you can now see, you'll see why I have emphasized on community service learning. Proposed list of subjects at senior school. Compulsory subjects, they are here. So the compulsory are English, Kiswahili or Kenya Sign Language, community service learning, physical education. And please, after this call, go and look at the curriculum of physical education in the field without a scheme of work, without a lesson plan, and it is a play game as usual. And yet, these are compulsory areas that will be examined, both formatively and summatively. Then it says ICT skills will be offered. I close that part. I go to the gist of what makes me feel that we are misleading parents and misleading the public with some of the things I'm listening to. And I'll go to this place. I think, William, I want you to, William.
So from the senior school is fourth, right? The senior school is the fourth level of basic education in the competency-based curriculum. That learners shall come to after the pre-primary, primary, and junior school. The essence of senior school is to offer learners a pre-university or pre-career experience where the learners have an opportunity to choose pathways where they earlier level. Senior school comprises 3 years of education for learners in the age bracket of 15 to 18 years and lays the foundation for further education and training at the tertiary level and the world of work. In the CBC vision, learners exiting this level are expected to be engaged and empowered and ethical citizens ready to participate in the social economic development of the nation.
No, thank you. The key concept right here that you must take note of, that is this place from where we are saying the essence of senior school is to offer learners a pre-university, pre-career experience, demonstrated interest. Top on the list is interest and potential at an earlier levels. You have left learners to go through waiting for KICD to tell you about the learner's interest. KICD doesn't interact with your learners. KICD interacts with the learners through you. Myself at the university, I interact with the learners through you, but you are still waiting. KICD should tell us the learner's interest. Question for you. I want to read the second part this way. At this level, please take note of that. 7, as recommended by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms. That's why I was asking you even online, have we interpreted the Presidential Working Party? This shall comprise 4 compulsory. The compulsories I have read to you, learning and physical education. Those are the 4 compulsories, good people. And Kiswahili is struck with Kenyan Sign Language. I go on to read, and it says, and 3 learning areas opted by the learner according to their chosen pathways. These are the 3 pathways: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, social sciences, arts, sports, and sciences. The 3 chosen areas. Now listen to what it says further on this. While English and Kiswahili as it are indicated areas as their subjects of specialization shall go through a differentiated curriculum in terms of scope, experiences, and assessments. Such learners shall therefore take advanced English or Kiswahili Kipevu, advanced additional 2 lessons. So if English has, say, 5 lessons, and a learner who specializes at senior school in, say, English as a language or English and literature will take advanced English and will pass you 2 extra lessons at that to be able to be doing advanced English or Kiswahili Kipevu. Then it goes on. It is recommended that at least 2 learning areas should be from the chosen pathway. In exceptional areas, some of the learners may opt for 1 learning area from 1 chosen pathways, depending on the learner career projections and with guidelines by the principals and senior schools. So now, interpret this second part and tell me where it tells you that there will be a STEM school, a social science school, and an arts and sports school. Take a time, interpret talks to you about as an educator. William, how many minutes should I take? Should I give for that? Can I give like 3 minutes?
I've seen a question.
Yes.
I think Nancy is asking, shouldn't CSL run from grade 7 to 9?
I don't think I need the question. I want them to, hello?
Yes.
I want them to interpret this part first.
Okay.
This part I've asked them to interpret.
I think we can take a minute. We can take a minute and see the reflections on it.
I want to hear reflections on this part. From this reading here, what you see here, what do you get? Do you get there is a school called STEM school? And out we can say categorization got finished. And again, we come and say they'll be categorized according to what they offer. It is the same thing as categorization. But we are saying the Presidential Working Party strictly said there is no categorization. So read this recommendation and tell me, pick on a senior school and tell me what the senior school should be offering. Responses.
So I see Godfrey is saying every senior school will offer all learning areas and pathways for learners to be able to do their.
Good. Any other? As they raise up their hands quickly to Nancy's answer. If you listen to my presentation from the beginning, community service learning I started mentioning it from pre-primary, as it impact it will cause to students if they do not do community service learning from the earliest age, because it's a compulsory area for assessment. Any other that, William, you can read?
From the explanation, all pathways will be offered.
Very good. So good people, can I hear anybody with verbatim who listened to the charts? Does this answer my argument on the chart on saying that it is wrong information to keep telling parents we're offering social sciences? This one from the Presidential Working Party's recommendations. Those assumptions were there before. They are no longer there. This document is available for you on the website of KICD. Can I hear some verbatims now? Verbal response. Anybody? William, pick on someone.
I think Nancy is quite engaging. I wish we can hear.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nancy. I'll try. I think, thank you so much, Daktari, for those insights. And I want to concur that all pathways will be specific schools that have been profiled to host specific pathways. Because upon your confirmation, probably you can tell us. All I know from my point of view is that 60% of the cohort will be placed in the STEM subjects, 25% in the social science. However, every high school will be expected to at least have not less than 2 pathways. But as it stands, I think majority have the capacity to admit students across.
Okay, good. Do you have any other? Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, I see Mike is also. Might you have a link on the KICD website that has the curriculum document? Currently, it's there. Is this Mike Kipkorir? I think we had a chat earlier in the week. And for sure, the KICD materials are currently down. Mike, is it you, Kipkorir?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think, I get. But I think that's a question whether it's the updating or they are pushing sales, whatever it could be. But yeah, currently I have also noted that the content is pulled down.
William.
But anyway, I think to proceed, I can also add a point.
William, before you add.
Yes.
Hello, I can demonstrate to you. Before we came for this meeting, I got this material directly from KICD. This is not a while ago. We can even visit the KICD website now on the KICD website, but go on.
Okay, I think that's okay. Perhaps you can share a link if you're able to search, just to answer Mike's question. I think part of our problem also is our culture that is predominantly summative, and a lot of us have to be struggling with explaining to parents and trying to sell the process. Right now, we are required to really focus on the process, about the end product. Where do we want our children to end up? Do they end up in Alliance? What is the grading system for KJCEA, and so on and so forth. So I know that is a constant apprehension that we have, and keeps coming back in many forms. You could also speak to that. It's part of.
All right. Now, So let me now explain this part with a bit of details. When it talks about there shall be comprised of 4 compulsories. Also, all learners will do these 4 compulsories. And we do these 4 compulsories in form of 1, formative assessments in grade 9. They carried 20% from grade 6 to grade 7. In grade 7 and 8, and that's why I'm pushing you guys to the community serving learning project in all those areas, they will accumulate another 20%, 60%. This 60% is broken down into 2. One of it is about the community service learning project, which will carry 20%. Then you remain with 40%. My take to you guys, I am reluctant examinations, because that is the same way we treated 844 and we started blaming the government, because we became examination oriented. I would personally encourage all of us to focus on the process and have days to just discuss issues of the curriculum and begin to bring your parents to reality of culture. What is so bad is to have a deception to parents, which you know very well that the deception will not deliver the results the parents expect. Why not become authentic as early as possible? Why not become a truthful institution and saying, this other school is doing that? Honestly, will we ever go to heaven based on what your neighbor is doing? If in any case there is heaven, Otundo will go to heaven based on what I'm not what Nancy or William or whoever is doing. But now we are into this culture. Let me just do good people, and with due respect, unless we become authentic, we'll be judged for our false pretense to the parents and to the learners. Because at the end of it all, it is not even that parent, it's that learner. This categorization of the number of the weighting, first of all, the weighting of the subjects under STEM, and where the Vision 2030 wants to take us to. And one of the rationale of this curriculum is Vision 2030. And that is why STEM text here, that removes the word categorization. So if someone is coming to your school and is telling you that there will be categorization of STEM and this, please refer that person to this context. So it says, while in learning areas as their subject of specialization, that means you are taking social sciences and specializing in English. And because you have done English as a basic, as a compulsory, you will now do what we call advanced English, the same as to Kiswahili. Then it goes on to say the following. Such learners shall therefore advance English. Sorry. It is recommended that learning areas should be from the chosen pathway, meaning you have done the 4 compulsories. Your pathway is social sciences. Pick 2 learning areas in that pathway, then add on the 3rd one from any of the pathways. And it says, some learners may opt for 1 learning area from 1 chosen pathway and a maximum of 2 learning areas from any of the other 3 pathways, depending on the learner's career projections and with the guidance of the principals at senior school. Pluck out this part and have a serious discussion in your school. That is your assignment. So of the Presidential Working Party, these are the ones for compulsory learning areas, then the specialization, the 3 pathways. That means the language of categorization is not a language we should be discussing. All the schools are supposed to provide a solution, because if a learner is going to take a pathway, like say, he has interest in sports, is that learner going to transfer to another school? He does pure sciences in Buruburu Girls and goes and does fine arts in Embu Girls High School and goes and does music and dance. It doesn't work like that. Take as their main, followed by their minor. And that is why you are being told initially that there will be the major and the 2 minors. If that is notwithstanding, good people, this is what now I have to finally say. We need this place parties report. And to me, that is the direction we need to take. We need to advise parents accordingly. In terms of pathways, in as far as schools can provide that, but my take is that way from the part they receive the learners. Let us begin to have the issue of interest and potential. It is well stated here. Good people, if we just think we even need to have career days in our schools where teachers just sit and what is there, so that the solution is not coming from Dr. Tundo or anybody. If you call me in your school and we are having a conversation, I will simply guide you based on the information that we have. Oh, let me remove myself. We are 33. The same question will come out. Other service providers who are here, let me mention this. You are in technology. I urge you, work with schools in a more objective manner. In as far as it is good to get money, but let us get it in the right way. Me as to stand anywhere to market my services. I'm a researcher, and you get me in the research and the evidence of research. So this idea of people juggling up and down and seeing that this one is taking my space, no. Let us provide solutions that these solutions we are providing. I want to ask all other service providers who are here, how many of us have tried to provide the same in international schools? And why are we not hacking through international schools? Why are we not rushing to say, I'm at Brookhurst, I'm at Peponi, I'm at this school? You need to evaluate yourself because based on that context. I hack through all these forms of curricula. Why? Because the context is about the learner. So I'm able to be found in Peponi addressing the aspect of learning for their curriculum. I'll be found in whatever. It's that we can only do CBC. And that is my argument, that if we have to provide solutions, let us provide holistic solutions, but advise educators accordingly. Let us to inform us on what we need to do. Not going to tell teachers, this is what you need to do. And for the schools, please, you have hired teachers for a purpose. These fellas are trained. You could be a director of a school. Yes, you are. You are the head teacher of a school. Yes, you are. You are the manager of the school. Yes, you are. Explore some of these facts so that we are not getting confused every day as we go. And remember, the Ministry of Education has remained very steadfast. While we think it is failing, things are just moving. While we think it is being confused, things are up to the high school, up to universities. Good people, that is it, unless someone has a question. If I told you what you do not want to hear, well and good. The ears are in the middle of the heart. If we listen, the heart will be happy. If we don't listen, the heart is disturbed.
Thank you. William, thank you so much. And what a way to end, that the ears are at the middle of the heart. So I think what you have explained to us today is it needs no expert. It just needs English understanding to be able to go into the documents and analyze. And I know there's still and we really appreciate. I believe that I speak for the people who have joined. Please do a quick comment on the chat. Mention whether your expectations have been met. Talk about if you have any further questions. It's been we are more than glad to arrange a similar forum like this. As and when we need it, we like it simple, we like it virtual so that all of us can participate. We'll have the recording. I'll upload it on YouTube and share the link. So you can share to those who missed. Or I see Washington, you have a question. If you could quickly unmute and ask, would be great. Keep it short.
Thank you so much. I'm asking Dr. He has said that there must be one major area. So a student will choose from a pathway. Then we'll also choose 2 other areas. Now, my question is, if the child has chosen a major area from STEM, and we have 2 other areas, can this child choose one learning area from one pathway and another learning area from another pathway? Or if it is coming from sports and culture, the 2 minor learning areas must come from that area only?
Yes, I said that it is not that the 2 must come from that area. A learner can have the 4 compulsories, then there are these 3. So these 3, he chooses one specific from his chosen pathway, another from another pathway, and another. So it can be either way. It doesn't have to be strained that the learner. So if that place, you can just pick it and interpret it at your own time, you'll see exactly what I said. It is the same way you've asked that, yes, it is possible the learner can choose from one specific area and then go to the other one and go to that. But the gist of the story, make reference to that part that we have had a discussion on. Washington?
Thank you, Dr.
Super.
Yeah, I see we have another question. Thank you, Washington. We have another question from Josna. What then will be the criteria of getting into senior school now that there is no categorization? I think this categorization seems to be quite a big conversation. And I will also propose the interest picking as another conversation, because I believe some of these are supporting at that level of interest picking. But maybe for now you can answer that question. What will be the criteria of getting into senior schools now that there will be no categorization?
What will be the criteria of categorization?
Categorization, of getting into senior school. I think the question is...
Now, number one, we all know that it's 100% transition. We all know that. Then there was an pronouncement that was made by Dr. Njengere, that a form is going to be sent to you to the schools, and students will fill this form. So that all depends on you guys. There's nobody standing somewhere waiting to categorize. Let me give you the university scenario. How do you receive your students at the universities? The students about the courses you want to take. In this context, therefore, what we are saying is, sorry, my internet went unstable a bit. What we are saying is that the aspect of what the learners will feel in, from what Dr. Njengere said, the question we should be working on, what are our learners' interests? We fill in those forms wrongly, the learner will be placed wrongly and will be here complaining. So for me, the part is let us address the learner's interest and potential. So that when those forms come, they are filled in correctly.
Yeah, the career interest forms. I think I've also seen that
Yes.
better. We can share it also on the wall, just for people also to have access to that. Is there any further question, members? I see Mike is still asking for the link.
Let me just share
so
it. Let me just share a screen. Let me take you. Hello, just a minute.
chat.
Let me just do this before you close down. Just 1 minute.
Okay, so even as you do that, thank you so much for sparing your time and also for coming down to a level that is understandable. I believe a further conversation on interest might be useful also to picture how to guide learners based on interest. What are the other factors to consider and what not, and some of these things that possibly even involve some recommended.
As we speak about William. Hello?
Yes.
I do not want to downplay tools like psychometrics, but I want to request you guys, just assume that child of yours, just assume that Bill Gates, who had a learning difficulty, did not use a psychometric. Assume Bill Gates in your school. Assume Steve Jobs, who had that quality. Assume that he's one of the members of your school. He never used psychometrics. Let us not make our teachers and parents lazy by just introducing tools. And I'm not speaking down against any tool, but I'm speaking about how do we affect our parents in all this. So I want to share my screen, just 1 minute for the issue of the link. William, can you see my screen?
I'm just waiting.
Can we see it?
Not yet. Yes, now it's coming. Yes, we can see Zoom.
Okay, Zoom.
Perhaps
so
you can navigate to.
Just I type here and say KICD curriculum designs. Let me try that. We are saying they have been brought down. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Do we see them?
Yeah, please open one of them.
Let me open.
That will offer the comfort that Mike needs. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Just a minute.
I didn't see them on this website.
Go to the better part. Yeah, here. Try these ones. We're seeing them. Let me open one. Umeona? William, have we seen? Hello, any response? Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes.
So you see what I did? So is it true that they have been brought down and this is the KICD website?
That's not the case. But that's not the KICD website, huh? but on the KICD website itself, they were there, but they've been taken down. What you're displaying there is from a website called freeexams.co.uk. Not knowing whether it's the latest by KICD with the updates and all that stuff. That was the concern. That was actually the question.
Very good. These are the ones that were the latest revised in November 2024. So if they have been brought down, they are just a bit of small reviews here and there. But if it cannot accept any upload at all, it cannot accept anything into their upload because that's a ministry. I mean, that is a semi-autonomous government agency. So for them to accept any source, they say this is correct. Super good. I can now drop on the call. Thank you everyone for taking your time to be here. And I think William, you can now.
Thank you so much, Doc, and thank you everybody who joined. I really wish you a great rest of the evening. I know we have questions that still come up. I personally wouldn't mind to have an example of a student combination, just to imagine how it would look like. Perhaps we can include a parent and see how that would be also so much, and have a great rest of the evening. God bless.
Thank you.
And thank you, William, for organizing this forum. Thank you so much.